Join me today as I talk through 3 meditation mistakes that you might be making whilst practicing the Dr. Joe Dispenza work. Once I started to implement these practices, it definitely helped with my meditations. So when it comes to meditation, I think it's easy to start out really gung-ho in the sense that you are meditating every single day, but then you find that you miss a day, and then you find that the whole practice has maybe dropped away, or weeks are going past and you find you're just not turning up for the meditations. And you might start to feel quite frustrated because you think, okay, I'm not doing this correctly, I'm not doing this enough. And I think that could start a cycle of negative thinking around even turning up for the practice. If you're thinking like that, this is why it's important to realize what are some of the mistakes that you might be making that might actually be stopping you from having a breakthrough.
One of the biggest challenges that meditators face when they're coming into Dr. Joe Dispenza's work, I think, is that there can be a lot of misconception around meditation in general. Some people believe that it is only for monks in the monastery, or they might think it is just for people who practice yoga. But the truth is, meditation is for everybody. Meditation is a powerful tool, and regardless of your background or your experience, then it is still something that you can practice. The challenge is a lack of understanding how to actually do it. I think with Dr. Joe Dispenza's work specifically as well, there is a lot of books, there's a lot of meditations out there, there's a lot of videos and knowledge, and it can seem overwhelming. And I think if you don't take the time that is needed to understand the knowledge, understand the science behind it, then it can be quite difficult to apply the work. So what can happen if you just try and wing it and just jump into the meditations without reading any of the books or really understanding it? I think you can get quite quickly discouraged. And the reason for this is because there is techniques that he uses throughout the meditations that he discusses in detail in his books. So he talks about coherence, he talks about being in space, and he talks about different concepts throughout the body, such as the energy centers. And I think if you just download the meditations and jump straight into them without actually reading the material that is needed beforehand, then you might just quickly either switch off from it, you might get discouraged, and you're not going to get the results that other people are getting because they have an understanding of what is being asked of them. So in addition to these misconceptions, I think a lot of people out there struggle with consistency. And what I mean by that is being able to turn up for something regularly, and that being a practice that you are able to implement day after day. And I think meditation for a lot of people is something that can go onto the back burner. It can be something that is not deemed as important maybe as other tasks. I think this can happen when you don't have much accountability. If you meditate alone and no one knows you meditate, then who's going to know if you miss a day? You might be saying to yourself, well, it's only a day, it doesn't matter. But the thing is with habits is that once you start to miss a day here and there, the habit is harder to integrate back into your routine. I remember for myself when I was watching a lot of the testimonials on YouTube, and I would see people who were healing at home or healing at a retreat even. And I think I had quite a lot of unrealistic expectations for myself that definitely held me back. And I think when you realize that this is a journey, this is not that you meditate once and then you heal. This is a process and it goes over time. I think when you switch to seeing this as a journey rather than just a one-off situation that you need to do, that's when things can start to change. I think as well you might be thinking, okay, meditation is going to solve all my problems overnight. It's all going to happen really quick. But the truth is, I've meditated for a number of years and I still struggle with consistency. I still find that some days I have to tell myself, okay, this needs to get done today, and I don't really want to do it, but I'm still doing it, and yeah, it might not be a great practice. But the point is that I still turned up, and for my brain, it's showing that I have a non-negotiable, which is my meditation practice. I think with meditation as well, I know for myself that some days I have these great meditations where it is a mystical experience and it's amazing, and I'm like, wow, why doesn't everyone meditate? And then the next time I meditate, it's really lackluster and nothing really happened and I couldn't get into it. And each one is different. And unfortunately, we can't always replicate those amazing experiences in the meditation. You just have to relax into what is given to you in each particular meditation. And that's because this is a journey. You're going through different stages, you're going through working through different energy centers in the body. When we try to meditate without a clear understanding of what we're doing and why, that can set yourself up for failure. And I think you can just feel like you're going through the motions and you're not actually getting any of the benefits. So I would say it's essential to take time to learn the material, to understand the knowledge, and be able to discuss it with somebody else, because that really helps with your learning, is to explain the concepts to somebody else, maybe somebody else who is interested in this as well, just to embed your learning, and that's going to help speed up the process for you. Moving on, let's dive into 3 meditation mistakes that might be holding you back. First meditation mistake is not finding an environment that is conducive for meditation. This can be that you do not have a quiet space to go to, you don't have a designated room, and you're struggling with distractions. Also, if you're meditating off your phone, you might be leaving on your notifications and those are pinging away or vibrating on your phone. Those can really take you out of what you need to be doing in the meditation, which is focusing. So it's really important to make sure that you have your phone on silent, especially if you're meditating from your device. Also to put up, if you need to, signs on your door to say do not disturb during this time. And also speak to your family members. If you are in a household where you have children and pets and other people, then you need to explain as much as you can to those people and get their support to understand that you need this time where you need the quiet, you need to be left alone. And if you have those distractions coming in all the time, you will struggle to get the main benefits out of meditation, which is also relaxation as well. There is a great chapter in the book Break the Habit of Being Yourself, where he talks about this and about how important your environment is. So I would suggest reading that book if you are just at the beginning of your journey and trying to set up an area for yourself where you feel comfortable that you're going to go to meditate every day. I know for some people they struggle with falling asleep in meditations, and a lot of the times those people are meditating on their bed. Now, it's easy to do because of course your bed is somewhere that you go to sleep at night, so your body is associating bed with sleep. So if you can, and if you're somebody who does fall asleep in meditations, switch to an upright chair, because that's going to keep you way more awake than lying down on your comfortable bed. The second mistake is not setting intentions before you start the meditation. This means setting clear goals around why you are meditating and what you would like to get out of it. So what this can look like is that you sit down before the practice to reflect on and think about what it is you want to happen as a result of your meditation practice. For some people, this will be healing a specific illness. For others, it could be manifestation of something. This is really going to depend on your personal situation as to what you want out of it. But when you get clear on anything, your brain will try to help you to get there. And this is why this is so important. It also gives you focus. It gives you that focus and intent and drive to want to turn up for the meditations every day. So the third mistake is not being consistent and not making your practice a non-negotiable every day. Once you start to show up consistently, I've actually found that I have way more mystical experiences, and I notice that I feel happier a lot more. Even if I take a break for a day and I think, okay, it's only one day, I just don't feel as good, I don't feel as happy, I don't feel as energized. So for me, I know I need to have that consistent routine. And I think if you're struggling with this, you could get an accountability buddy, somebody who is also maybe in the community or just a friend, and ask them to keep asking you about your meditation practice. And this will hold you accountable to at least somebody. And this helps because if you know you're going to be asked about this by somebody, you're way more likely to keep your practice up, because you know if they ask you and you say, oh, I just stopped, or oh, I didn't do it today, then you might feel a bit embarrassed around that, or that might spur you on to keep your practice going. Let's break down each of these mistakes and explore how these might be holding you back. When you don't set that conducive environment for meditation, and that is a quiet space, you might find that you are distracted by outside noises, by your phone, by your pets, by your children. And that is all taking you away from being able to slow your brain waves down. And when you slow your brain waves down, that's when you're accessing the autonomic nervous system. So if you're not able to get in a fully relaxed state, you're not able to get into that system, and that is the system where you need to heal. So it is really important to have that quiet environment in a comfortable spot, not too comfortable though, because you don't want to fall asleep. And make sure that people are aware of how important your practice is, and get them on your side and have them to understand why it is so important. Secondly, when you don't set any intentions for the meditation, you might find that you're aimlessly wandering through the meditations. They can just feel like a bit of a tick box each day. When you don't have that clear direction and focus, you might be finding that you are unmotivated, you get quickly disengaged from this work. So having those clear goals and direction is really important. When there is no consistency with this practice as well, I think you might not see much progress. I know that can definitely happen. I've had that for myself when I've dropped off for a number of weeks and I've reverted back to my old self, and then I jumped back into the meditations and went back to a daily practice. And I noticed such a big difference in myself. So I know how important consistency is. So the most impactful insight that I've learned from Dr. Joe Dispenza's meditations is just to be kind to yourself. And when you are too hard on yourself and you're pushing, it actually has the opposite effect. And this is because you're not relaxed. And again, you need to go into these relaxed states to slow your brain waves, to access the healing system in the body. So that's how important it is to not have a lot of tension and anxiety around this process. Even if you find you are making mistakes and it's not going as you planned, that's fine. That is part of this process. So don't be discouraged if you are just starting out and you don't understand all the terminology. It can take years to learn everything. When you start to approach your meditation practice with kindness and gratitude, and knowing that you're going to make mistakes in this process, I think it takes a lot of the pressure off you. I think you can enjoy it more, and ultimately you want to be enjoying this process. If this is something you plan on doing for the rest of your life, then you need to find a way to have this be an enjoyable habit, not one that you are forcing yourself to turn up for. I've seen as well people comment on things like how they really need to heal right now. they are pushing and they're striving. Maybe they're meditating for 5 hours a day, 6 hours a day, in the hopes that they will heal. And of course, for some people that works. I think for a lot of people that is counterintuitive, because when you're in that much of a frantic state to heal, your body is going to be quite confused. And also that is not somebody who is relaxing and releasing into the present moment. That is the complete opposite. So I think if you're finding that you are struggling with this needing everything now, you need to heal now, then just slow that back down and realize that this may take you time, but you need to be gentle with yourself. So what can we do to overcome these mistakes in our meditation practice? The first one is to have that environment ready. Have your room ready, or your chair, the place you go every day. Have it clear and free of clutter. I found that when I had my space available to me, but it was cluttered, I just wasn't turning up for the meditation. So have that clear space available, and make sure that at that specific time of the day, people know, if you have people in your household, that you are not available, you cannot come to their aid for any reason apart from a major emergency, and for them to understand how important this practice is. The step is to set clear intentions beforehand. So this is being clear on what it is you want from the meditations. Maybe it is just to be more of a relaxed person. Maybe you're trying to heal an illness. Maybe you are wanting to become more of a calm person. So whatever it is, just make sure that you have that clear intention written down. That's going to help you in those times where you don't feel like turning up and you are looking for excuses. You need to go back to your goals and your intentions and remember why you're actually turning up. The third step is to make meditation practice a non-negotiable. Maybe you love the gym, maybe you have other hobbies that you turn up for and you've done that for a number of years. Meditation needs to find a place in your life that can slot in and become a non-negotiable. And you'll get to the point when you meditate regularly where you actually miss it and you notice when you haven't done it, because you see you're slightly different or you're maybe more easily tempered. That's what I find for myself if I don't do my practice, or even if I do, but it's a shorter version, maybe it's 25 minutes instead of 45. I'm just not as happy as I would be when I do the 45 minutes. You'll see how long you need the practice to be to become your best self. In conclusion, recognising and addressing the points I've mentioned is really important for you to have an amazing meditation practice. By creating a conducive environment, setting intentions, and also being consistent, you can start to have that practice you want to have and start to see the benefits that meditation has to offer. If you've ever struggled with meditation or you've made some of these mistakes yourself, please drop me a comment below. I would love to hear from you. Don't forget to like and subscribe this video, it really helps support the channel. And check out my other videos that I have done on the Dr. Joe Dispenza meditation. I will link these down below. I hope this video helped you today and have an amazing day.